my whole past 2 years have been on the campaign trail, man. And bringing guys like Kanye in. We did the Kanye West Homecoming show, where on his tour we visited veterans who surprised them at their homes, went in, found out what's going on with them. It impacted Kanye in a way that I could tell it made a difference in him. It was, for one, the best press he's ever gotten. It was positive. People did nothing but praise him for his role in it. But what people should understand is that he was fully immersed in this, in the way he touched these people's heart through his music. People don't understand when these soldiers over there fighting, they miss home. And anybody who gives them any inkling that you're thinking about what they're doing and you appreciate what they do goes 1,000 times farther than what you might even expect. So to be in this position, we had a chance to do earlier in the primaries roundtable discussions where we brought young veterans in to talk with Hillary Clinton and talk with Senator Obama about what would they do to help young veterans. It was just it's an interesting dynamic to see somebody who, I think, stepping outside of it, somebody who come from where you come from, to be able to conduct these type of dialogues. And that the world globally start to see us as multidimensional people, and we don't just carry one or two images, and we don't just apply to one or two stereotypes. So on a personal note, I'm glad to be a part of this.
Right. I mean, in my mind now, I'm thinking about it, and that's the idea of war is sort of surreal to me. And I think that goes for a lot of people, in New York City right now, in these big cities right now. But war is definitely a reality. You get a chance to speak to these war veterans, and just from speaking to them, what can you say about?
Hey man, just from speaking to them, just to be blunt with you, the first guys I spoke to, matter of fact, is a guy here today.
The other day I was talking to this nigga, he talking about who had did what for what did who. I said, nigga, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you talking about, man. I said Naughty was like one of the craziest, most monumental groups ever. And if anybody gonna do it, then it gotta be, drop a load on it. And then after I told him my name was AB, he started asking me this, that, and the third, saying all this other shit. Like what it mean? So I said, A.P to be specific, it means that percentage. Any person who met me be a witness. Always progressing on tests, I ain't playing. I ain't precise when that thing blazing. I ain't pussy, my gang bushy, I'm all problems. Arm pull out arsenals, you all pausing. Applaud them, ad paper say I'm all profit. I airplane paper dollars if I ass pops it. I always act polite, but for altercation purchase, I do act psycho.
And dumb, and some of the combat that they told me they saw, the carnage, people losing limbs, kids being, exploded, people dying under tanks. These IAVs, is improvised, what do you call them, bombs, basically. People running over them and just watching your friends die. 1 second we talking and then I turn to my right, the next second, Nick, you not there, or you turn and I'm not there. I'm not trying to put that in the universe, but he said that the reality of it is just it's like you living in, it's a hell. It's hell. Yeah. By all intents and purposes, you killing people or people trying to kill you every single day. Man, I don't know. I mean, that's after hearing these stories, and then you see people who, not just that, when they return home, they're just not the same person, man. It's like me and you sitting down, we got good energy, and then you see me a year later, and I'm just a totally different person. Like, there's no remnants of who I was a year ago. That's the effects of war.
Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt at all that an experience like that is going to change you. How important do you think it is for not only the African American community but all minorities just to get together and really focus on the task at hand? Which is better in our community. There's things that we're doing in the community that aren't beneficial to our own selves, and there's certain things that we can do to better our situations. Obviously Barack Obama, we want him to win, but he's one man, he's a president, but the president doesn't change everything. There's still things that we're responsible for. So what are some ways that you think the black community can get together, or some ideas on that?
I think first I'll speak on what I feel like the black community, some of the things, I don't, I'm not a sociologist or, I don't pretend to have all the answers. I know what I would like to see. I think the key at the core of it all, honestly, is education. Like to me, it's just education, it's the nourishment that we don't prioritize as much as we should. And I think when the education is not just opening books, but it is opening books too, but just making yourself aware of not just your environment, but your surrounding environments, and expanding your knowledge of the world so you have a bigger understanding of what's going on, and it can help you understand what's going on in your microcosm of the world. It's through education. If you're an educated person and you're capable of utilizing your brain power to get yourself out of jams, you tend to make better decisions and choices. Whether it's the reason why I chose not to sell drugs, or the reason you may have chose to sell drugs, could very well be determined by the education you have. And if you do go that route, chances are you're gonna be gambling. It's not too many that make it through that, unscathed. Whether you put in jail, whether you put in the ground, or whatever the case may be, or you just living a stressful ass life. So I think first and foremost is education. I think family values as well. And also, man, I just think we have a lot of low self-esteem in our community, where we're just so easy to explode on each other. And it's partially because we're dealing with a lot of stress, and we're dealing with the lack of hope. Sometimes people don't have a lot of hope because they can't see the light. And it's the way how you view the world determines how you react to the world. And to me, it all ties back to education. It ties back to family values. And if you got family values and education, it's hard for me to hate you.
Right.
I could disagree with you, even if you ain't in my family, but it's hard for me to hate you because you just like me. So my hatred for you is almost like hating myself, and I think that's where the low self-esteem come in. These are some of the things. And then also through education, you can fight, any type of, combativeness you're facing, whether it's from economics or whether it's from people outside of your environment. It's interesting, man. It's hard to function. Like coming to MTV was a culture shock for me. It's like it's a loose, it's a very wonderful place. It's fun to work, but it's a corporate environment at the same time.
Right.
And so I've always been self-employed and still consider myself self-employed. I learned a lot about other people's culture when I moved here to New York. I didn't know a lot about the Jewish community. I didn't know a lot about Middle Eastern communities. I didn't know a lot about, the South Asian communities, and there was a lot I didn't know. I had never, this may sound ignorant to you, but I grew up in Northern California. There wasn't, when I was growing up, a big Dominican population. So I didn't understand Dominican. To me, I thought was, you all West Indies, right? We all, you might as well be, you look just like me. So, speak Spanish.
Right.
And it was like I welcomed the education and learned about that culture and other cultures. So I think a lot of it has to do with education. Is first how we improve, and through education put ourselves in a position of power.